Welcome back to Dave's World, where we discuss movies, music, and just about anything entertainment. Today we'll discuss the movie The Little Things that came out this weekend, January 29th, 2021, starring Denzel Washington, Rami, Malek, and Jared Leto. All right, before we dive into the review of The Little Things, be sure to click subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and also click that notification. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down there in the comments section.
Just like I'm listening to you now. You can talk to me. I'm all a friend you got.
John Lee Hancock, who wrote and directed this film, is not a stranger to writing really good screenplays. He wrote the screenplay to A Perfect World that came out in 1993, directed by Clint Eastwood and also starring Clint Eastwood and Kevin Costner. He wrote another great movie that Clint Eastwood directed, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And of course, he wrote Snow White and The Huntsman that came out in 2012. So the writing in this film is good, and I can't really get into why I think the writing could have been better without spoiling the movie, so I'm not going to get into that. It's good writing for a decent serial killer movie. That's about it. It's not great writing because he had some opportunities here to make the story better, and I think he kind of fell short there. Now, this film was written, actually, while they were filming Perfect World. And he wrote it, and there were talk about other directors taking over and doing this film, like Danny DeVito, Steven Spielberg even. But later on, he decided to direct it himself. Now, there's no surprise that the acting in this film, at least by the main three characters, Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto, is fantastic. All three of them have won Academy Award for acting. So the acting in this film is fantastic. No complaints there. I think particularly you're going to find that Leto's performance is stellar.
How's the trunk space?
Now, it's not because it's over the top, like, say, Jack Nicholson in Batman, or even Heath Ledger in The Joker, playing the Joker in The Dark Knight. It's quite the opposite. It's amazing how this guy was so subdued and yet so incredibly intense. It is great acting. So I think the directing of this film was just fine. There were some moments where I think it dragged a little, and I think he spent a little more time on developing some parts of the story that probably didn't need so much development. The main thing is that if you're in the mood for a serial killer movie, it's a decent one. It's certainly worth a see because of the acting primarily. Jared Leto and Denzel Washington are really, really good. There's just other movies out there that are serial killer type movies that are far better. For example, Manhunter came out in 1986, starring William R. Peterson as the protagonist, the FBI investigator, and then Brian Cox, who plays Hannibal Lecter. Silence of the Lambs, fantastic movie. Zodiac with Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo. But I think more recently, it may be overlooked, is Frozen Ground. And it's based on a true story, and you'll find that that film was very well made. And I'd say all of these that I've mentioned, especially Frozen Ground, is better than Little Things. I don't think you should miss it because of the acting, and there's some good storytelling in it too. Just some missed opportunities. The two movies that were based on real events, Zodiac and Frozen Ground, in my opinion, those films had better writing. They were based on true stories, of course, but it made the stories develop and flow a little better. I'm giving the movie 3 stars with a recommendation to watch it. Even though it has a Rotten Tomatoes score right now, 48% critics and 61% audience, I think that critic score is probably going to rise a little bit with some time as more critics put in their reviews. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.